everyone, Heather here, and as a former model, I've learned a thing or two about makeup. Now, I have noticed that a lot of times women make about 10 common mistakes in their makeup, so I want to show you the do's and the don'ts. Now, if you're a woman of a certain age, our faces, our eyes, a lot of our complexion changes over the years, so I really want to address that too. I can't wait to get started, and it all starts in just a few seconds. So if you watched any of my makeup tutorials, you know that I want to keep it real. So it's time for me to take off my makeup with a little presto changeo. Okay, I'm just keeping it real for you, and you can really see the way I was just a few seconds ago, how a little bit of makeup done the right way can really help a girl like me. So for the sake of time, I did put on my primer, my concealer, and also my foundation. So, and oh, by the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link below the products for the do makeup. So let's start with the do's and the don'ts of eye makeup. And what I'm going to do on this side of my face, I'm going to do the don'ts, and on this side of my face, I'm going to do the do's. And let's start with eyeliner. Now, I have an eyeliner pencil right here, and some of the mistakes that women, especially of a certain age, make using their eyeliner. So on the don't side, I'm going to use this eyeliner and go all the way around my eyes. Now, the misconception is that if you put eyeliner all around your eyes, it's going to make your eyes stand out. It's going to make them look bigger. And that's really a misconception. What you're going to see pretty soon is the more eyeliner that you put on, the smaller your eye tends to get. And also, what you're doing is you're making your eyes look a little harsh. So let's see what I'm talking about right here. And I'm going to just go ahead. Now I'm using black, and for a lot of women, especially if you put it on too thick, that's too dark a color. You might want to go with a brown. So there we go. And I'm also going to go under the eyes because a lot of women do that. And they also go on the waterline, thinking that that's going to look really quite nice for them. So over on the do eye, I'm going to put a very thin line of the eyeliner and just a little bit of brown eyeshadow powder underneath my eyes. So very, very delicately. I'm not doing a big swoosh. I'm just going to sort of connect the dots with a very fine line here. And the powder underneath. Just a hint of brown powder underneath. So for the next don't for doing our eyes, let's not do our eye makeup like a lot of the younger YouTubers do. We're thinking, oh, it's going to look so sultry, it's going to look so smoky. So we just sort of get maybe a brown eyeshadow like this, and we decide to just go over our eyelids with something darker, because it's going to look, oh, so smoky. But really, especially if you've got some wrinkles there, it's really not doing too much for you at all. What I like to do is I want to have more of a natural eye, so I'm using a palette very similar to this one here, and just let me show you what I'll do with a lot of this. All right, so what I'm going to do, instead of having it all dark here, I'm going to have a little bit of lightness here, which will help us open the eye more than the darkness that is closing it. And also, we're going to go up here a little bit underneath the brow bone. Now also pick a color that is really nice for maybe your eyes and your complexion. And for me, I love the purple. So let me just sort of put the purple on here. I'm going to go right into the crease. And because I have hooded, downturned eyes, and women of a certain age, a lot of times we do get the droopier eyelids. So I want to do a little swoosh for that. I'm going to go right in here like this and do a little swoosh. Not going right to the edge, I'm just going to go to about here. All right, now the next one. So mistake number 3, and I think it's pretty obvious, is not blending. Now we could be using the brush that we applied everything with, but that's not going to help us to blend. So one of the things that I learned from makeup artists is blend, 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 and also use a blending brush. So this brush is pretty clean here, and what it's going to do as I'm blending, it's going to take some of the excess off. And it's going to make that stark kind of purple that you're seeing there a lot softer. And just keep on working it until it looks a little more natural. So the 4th mistake is our brows. You know, we see a lot of the young YouTubers and they're making up all these big brows, and for us, especially as women of a certain age, we've lost a lot of our eyebrows. You know, they've thinned out over the years. Maybe we just plucked them too much, I don't know. But for us to go ahead and make these fake eyebrows, well, we end up looking a little bit like Groucho Marx. I'll show you what I mean. So along with the bigger brows, we also make a 5th mistake, and that's my 5th don't. We use a color that is really just too dark for us. We see everybody doing that, but you know, as we're aging, a lot of our coloring of our hair may be getting lighter, or you know, some of that gray silver starts coming in. So yeah, going really too dark with the eye, you'll see what I mean in just a second, with the eyebrows, just a big no. And I'm just going to try to fill this in. And I'm not trying to do a bad job. I'm trying to actually do something similar to what I see out there. They almost square off the side here as well. Sometimes going into a nice little peak there. It's really too dark. I'm just even going to try to make it, I mean, I don't want to look ridiculous, but I'm going to brush it up to try to make it even look a little more natural. I'm fixing the don't, but I don't want it to look ridiculous, but there you go. That's kind of a natural, more darker brow. So for the do side of my brow, what I'm going to use for my coloring is a blonde. Now, if I was going to go to maybe an evening, a party, a gala, something like that, I would go a little darker, maybe into a brown, certainly not this dark at all. And all I'm going to do, I'm just using a pencil here. It's blonde with a little spoolie on the end of it. I'm going to brush up my natural brows, what are left of them. I'm going to start right here and fill in my brows. I mean, they're still dark. They're not going to be, you know, the color of my foundation, but just a little more natural look. And also, I like to finish off with a little bit of clear mascara just to brush the hairs up and to keep everything a little bit in place. Oh, and by the way, the brow pencil that I just used, that was from Burt's Bees. So now I'm going to use mascara, and I love this. This is so inexpensive, and it's called the Falsies Lash Lift by Maybelline. And one of the mistakes that a lot of people make when they put on their mascara is they put just as much mascara on their top lashes as they do on the bottom lashes. And unless you're wearing a waterproof mascara, and hey, who wants to take off waterproof mascara every single night? Like, not me for sure. you're going to end up getting those raccoon eyes. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to finish up my mascara because it takes a little bit of time. I also put on 3 coats on the top on the dew side and just 1 coat on the bottom. So just a reminder that number 6 was not applying your mascara properly. And let's get on to number 7. And for number 7, let's talk contouring. And hey, if you're still really contouring your cheekbones up like you cheekbones up like you did when you were in the 1980s, well, it's just a little too much. Now, when you're applying the contours, I actually a lot of times just use a pink. This is mainly just too dark for me unless I'm in the middle of summer or something along those lines. Now, this is a color that you also see a lot with the younger YouTubers. You know, they're contouring here, they're contouring here, they're contouring here. There's just so much everywhere. So I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of that on this side here. Again, with the kind of 80s look of the cheekbones. Some of you will remember that. And I'm also going to go under here and also, you know, just, and if you've seen the videos, you know that you see a lot of this kind of thing. Certainly I do want to blend it a little bit. I don't want to look too ridiculous again, but there you go. And for me, I use a brush like this, and this is Too Faced actually. It's called Exposed. And I'm just going to use a brush, carefully go down my cheekbones like this. You can see the difference. And it's just enhancing them. Sure, I'm going to go under here a little bit with those jowls, a little bit up here. Also, our nose does get bigger as we get older. Gosh. And so I'm just going to go down the side of my nose like this with this one. And I'll just go down the side of my nose a little bit with this one as well. And you've probably seen that a lot where there's a lot of contouring done down the nose. So let's talk about number 8, and that's the don'ts of the blush. And really what we did in the 80s was we always put on a lot of blush on our cheeks, and we had those rosy cheeks. Well, no more. What we want to do now with our blush is we just want to kind of blend it in lightly. I'm letting the cheekbones of course, the same color of the blush is going on my cheekbones, but also I've got now a white here underneath my nose. I got white on my chin and white on my forehead. So it's important, I'll do the whole part here, not just half, but it's important that we kind of blend in the blush a little bit so there's a rosiness all over. So for number 9, the don't has got to be the big lip liner and making our lips look super large. Like, I've got small lips, but I just don't want to have the injections. But if I make my lip liner really huge, well, after I've had a cup of coffee, all you can see is this weird outline on my lips. So what I'm going to show you is the don'ts, and I'm going to do the right way of doing it because you're usually using and don't use a brown. Remember the old days of using brown? Don't use brown. Use something that's pretty close to what you're using as far as your lipstick is concerned. But you start at the inside and you just keep making your lips bigger and bigger. It's very natural looking, but I don't know. When that liner starts to go away, you're going to look a little off. So on the other side, what I'm going to do, make that a little bigger. On the other side, I'm just going to make it more natural. A little bit larger, a little bit bigger than my natural lip. And actually from the inside out. All right. Now I'm just going to fill in my lips, and I've chosen this Lancome. It's called Rouge in Love. All right. So I'm just going to fill in here. fill in there. And again, make sure you're picking a lipstick that kind of goes with the colors. This just doesn't go with this contoured side, but it does go quite nicely with the natural side. Now for number 10, I'm sure a lot of you are doing this, and you probably watched your mom or you watched those old movies where the women said, I'm going to powder for my nose. And so you get the powder out, and all through the day you're powdering your nose. You've got these kind of, it happens to me a lot where I get kind of, I don't know, it gets kind of oily underneath my eyes, so I'm putting it underneath my eyes, and after a while, you end up looking like a big cakey mess. And also when you're using powder, you're really drying up underneath your eyes, and a lot of people will put it on their foreheads as well. And the wrinkles actually get accentuated because you're just a big cakey mess, and the wrinkles look like they're twice as big. So since this isn't the 1960s anymore, welcome to the 21st century, and nowadays we can use the blotting paper and just ask any store that sells cosmetics, and they usually know where the blotting paper is. But of course, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that my secret weapon is the Revlon Anti-Shine, and it's not a powder, it's a cream, but it doesn't look greasy at all. And no, they're not sponsoring, even though it sounds like I'm a commercial here, but I just put a little bit of this anti-shine on, and you can probably see I have a little bit of a shine under here, and voila! It takes the shine away, it doesn't go on cakey, my nose is a little shiny, ta-da! And I just absolutely love it. I know it's kind of hard to find, so I'll make sure for sure that I link that below for you as well. And talking about shine, I'm going to put a little bit of highlighter, which is shine, but in the right places on my face. And this gives you kind of a youthful glow using a brush like this. And I'm just going to put a little dab here and a little dab up here. Now this can be a mistake too, our bonus number 11, because some people, they just put too much of the highlighter all over the place. And it's just not attractive at all. So let's take a look at what we've got. I'm just going to use a pen here and sort of go down the middle of my face here. But look at the eyes. On the one side, we've put on the makeup. We thought, oh, we're going to look so great because we're going to have all of our eyeliner on, tons of mascara, the darker look like we see with the young YouTubers, and it really, it looks harsh, it looks a little closed in, where the other side, it's brighter, it's got a more natural, and plus if you have those droopy eyes, it's got more of an uplift to it. Also the blending part, we're not seeing the blending so much over here on this side, but we do see it blended into a more natural look on that side. And look at the makeup. You know, I started off with the same makeup on both sides, but the excess contouring, the wrong color for the lipstick, again, younger YouTuber kind of over contouring. I think it's great for the younger people, by the way. I'm not trying to judge that, but I find for us older folks, you know, it's just the more we put on, the more it accentuates our wrinkles, and you might not be able to see the cakiness under here, but with that extra powder my nose kind of powder, that's not working for me either. Excessive blush and the bigger lips and those brows. Those brows, I mean, nah. So let's see a few of the sort of full length, not close-ups, of the difference of the two. Here we have kind of a harsh looking look going on, and over here it's more uplifted. I mean, we actually used less makeup on this side, but it does look fresher and more youthful in comparison to this side. So I really want to know what you think, whether or not, you know, I've got a point with some of the contouring and the blush. And I know myself, I was wearing my 1980s makeup for the longest time. And then all of a sudden one day, I think I saw a makeup artist and she went, whoa, you know what, like you really got to change things up. And I went more natural, and I think I took probably about 10 years off of my look as well. And talking about close-ups, somebody is ready for his close-up, and that's our little Yorkie Hurricane. And when Hurricane comes on the scene, yeah, I woke him up. When Hurricane comes on the scene, it's time for us to talk about our future videos. And hey, if you like this video and you want to see more like them, don't forget to click on the subscribe button below and also click on the bell, and that way you'll be notified about the beauty and fashion and self-care videos. And as many of you know, we have another channel, another awesome channel on YouTube, and that's at youtube.com/awesomeover50inspiration. And over there we have fun and food, and right now we have some barbecuing ideas for you, eating outdoors, and also how to keep those nasty mosquitoes and bugs away from your food. And over here on the Fashion and Beauty channel, I'm going to continue with 4 more of the capsule wardrobes, and they're coming along for fashion, and also more makeup reviews, and also some more self-care. Oh, and I'm also on Instagram, and I really love it over there. I put up stories and, you know, the posts, and yeah, it's on beauty and fashion, but mostly it's just kind of like my everyday life, and also I really try to give some words of inspiration. So I gotta tell you, I love doing these videos for you, and I remember I was a former model, and after I had my kids, I kind of got stuck in a rut. You know, I would wear oversized clothes, I still did my old 80s style makeup, and then I started visiting people like some of the old makeup artists, and I learned a lot, and then I started learning a lot about fashion, and it just makes me feel a lot more youthful. So I just want to keep learning. I want to keep showing these videos to you on makeup and how-tos, and you know, this is a great chapter of our lives, and although I'm not a young YouTuber anymore, I am a YouTuber for women of a certain age. So join me on this journey and let's keep it awesome.